Hello guys, welcome back to this question 2 of our 2017 examination practical paper. So this is paper 2 and this is question 2. So let us start answering the questions. You are required to use Microsoft Excel spreadsheet for this question. You are required to use Microsoft Excel spreadsheet for this question. Open a new worksheet and type your name, examination number and school center name in the header. So let us open Microsoft Excel by searching for it and double tapping the icon. So now Microsoft Excel is opened. Let us just maximize it and go on blank workbook. So this is our workbook. So this is where we'll do most of our work. So let us go on the first part of the question. The first part says open a new worksheet and type your name, examination number and school center name in the header. So let us do that. In order to add the header, we go on the insert tab. After going on the insert tab, we locate the text group on our ribbon. This is our ribbon. We locate the text group and click on that icon that says header and footer. So after you click on header and footer, you will see this section here that says header. So let us enter our name. As I did earlier in the previous video, I'm just going to add my name. So that's my name, Chilofian Sofa. And for the next part, I will write my exam number. So let's do that. 2017 with just an ordinary center number. Let's just add 4-digit numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the candidate number, let's just add 0007. So that is it. We also are required to write a center name. So I'm just going to type school. Okay, we have entered our details in the header. So all we have to do now is click on any cell, anything but the header, and our work will be saved in the header here. Now when you notice something that looks a bit strange, it's like showing two pages. All you have to do is go below here in the view settings and go on normal. You click on normal with your left mouse button and it should be able to bring back the way we started with. So that's it, we have answered that part of the question. Let us do the next thing that we have been told. Okay, let us do that. Create a worksheet below. So this is the worksheet below and we have been told to create this worksheet. So let us do that. So let us start from the top to the bottom. So as you can see, this title here, this title, school trips, it's not in one cell. This is a cell A1, this is B1 and this is C1. As you can see, this cell is spanning from cell A up to cell C. Have you seen? So this is what we are going to do. We call this merging. So we have merged this title into 3 columns. As you can see, we have merged this cell into 3 columns. This column, this column and this column. So let us do that. We're going to type school trips in capital letters. So let us do that in Excel. Remember our text started in cell A1, So this is the cell address. As you can see, this is cell A1. So let us type school trips in capital letters. So press your caps lock if it's not already on, and we type school trips. Okay, so now in order for us to have this title start from cell A1 to C1, this is C1, we want this cell trip, this school trip, to span this area. So what do we have to do? All we have to do is click on this first cell address, cell A1, hold your left mouse button and drag it. After you do that, you go on the ribbon, and on the alignment group you'll be able to see something that says merge and center. So all we have to do is left click on it. So when you left click on it, you will notice that this heading, this title, it is now in 3 columns. It is in A1, B1 and C1. That's what we have been given in the book. So that's what we want. We have merged the cells. We have made these 3 cells into one whole cell, and we have added the text. So that's a good thing. And as I always emphasize, whenever you are working on your document, you always need to save it, because we might have power failures or outages, or someone unplugs the computer by mistake. A lot can happen, and you might have the risk of losing your data. So you have to go in the file tab, you go in the files tab, and when you're saving for the first time, you go on save as. After you go on save as, you are given these lists. So these are the frequently folders that I use to save my documents. If I want, I can go and browse. When I go and browse, I'll be able to select from my PC which location I choose to save my workbook. Let me save in documents. I click once in documents, and I'm going to name it my name. Okay, immediately as I do that, I can now save my workbook by left clicking it. So that's it. I've saved my workbook, and as you can see on top on the title, I've saved it. It is displaying the current name of my workbook. So that's a sign that I've saved it. So let us go on the next part of the question. The next part of the question says, we're still in this, we're still creating this table. Okay, we're still creating this worksheet. So we have added the title. Now let us add this on this row. Let us add the tour, duration, and all that stuff. So here it says tour. In the next cell it says duration. But now I want to explain something just real quick here. When you see in your question, you can see that the duration is there are like 2 lines in this cell. The first line shows the duration, and the second line shows hours, the initials of hours. As you can see, even in here, adults, cost, children, and so on. But when we go in Excel, we will notice that when we press enter, the active cell goes down. We don't want that. We want to add 2 lines in one cell. So all you have to do is control how the text is in the cell. So in order to achieve that, you have to click on the row number. You right click it, and then you go in the settings. In this menu, you go where it says format cells. When you click on format cells, you're able to see these few options. We're interested in alignment, so click on alignment, After you click on alignment, you'll see something that says text control. So how do you want to control our text? We want whenever we are typing something and it reaches the end of the cell, that text go below that cell. In the same cell, we want the text to go below to create two lines basically. So we click on wrap text. We left click on wrap text, then we click on OK. So now this is what will happen. Let me demonstrate. Have you seen what is happening? So instead of the words going to the next cell, they are just going below, as you have seen in our document. It's duration in the first line, then hours on the second line. That's what we want to achieve. So let us just add a little bit space by clicking on these two letters. Let us add a little space. Okay, so now that is what we want to achieve. So now as we are typing, whenever we run out of space, the letters or text or data will not go in the next cell address. It will go below. So let me show you this. Have you seen? It has gone below the same cell. That is what we are trying to achieve. So it was HRS for hours. When you want to go in the next cell of the same row, you just press the tab button. So what's the second bit of information? We have been told to add adult cost, children cost, meals and total cost. Okay, so that's about it. That's about it in this section. So we have entered our second row of data. This is almost coming to the way we have been given in the paper. So now let us enter the tour: Victoria Falls, Egypt, Cairo, and so on. So I'm going to show you everything as immediately as I enter it. So let us jump right into it. So let me skip to the point where I show you the complete table as I have entered the data. So this is the complete table. I have entered all the values, the data. So now we can go to the next part of the question. We have been told in cell F3 to use the formula duration times adult cost plus duration times children cost plus meal to find the total cost for the tour to the Victoria Falls. We have been told to use the row that contains the tour to Victoria Falls, this row here, row 3. So we have been told to get the duration of this tour, which is 6 hours, then multiply it with the adult cost, which is 45. Then we have also been told to get this duration 6 hours and multiply it with the children's cost, which is 30. Then we add the meal, which is 45. So let us enter a formula, and we have been told this formula should be entered in the total cost, this total cost, cell address F3. So this is the cell address that we're going to use to enter this information. So let us do that. So let us click this cell address and enter the formula. You can enter a formula either from this part or this part. You can choose each part you feel like using. Let's just use this. We're going to use this formula bar. So whenever you are entering a formula, you start with the equal to sign or symbol. So what have we been told to do? We've been told to get the duration of this tour to Victoria Falls we multiply it with the adult cost, then we add whatever we find to the duration, which we will then multiply it with the children cost. Then we are going to add the meal at the end. So all you have to do is hold your shift button. Okay, hold your shift button, and this will allow you to select multiple values by just clicking without using the mouse to type. This is the first process. So we've been told to get a duration, so we click on the duration. As you can see, it has selected the data in the duration. This is B3. Instead of us typing B3, we have automatically selected it. So what's next? We've been told to multiply it with the adult cost. So we press the multiplication symbol, this asterisk symbol here that looks like a star. That is the multiplication symbol in Excel. Okay, then we're told to multiply this duration with the adult cost. So whilst you're still holding your shift button, you must click on adult cost. Okay, it has also been added in our formula, as you can see on top here. So we have been told to multiply the duration and the adult cost, then we add the duration and children costs. So we have to use the addition operation. So that's the addition operation. Then we get the duration, hold your shift keyboard button and press on duration. Then we multiply, so we press the multiplication operation, the asterisk. Then we multiply it with the children's cost. We hold the shift keyboard button, then we click on children cost. After that, we have been told to do the final thing. We add the meal, which is 75. So we press the addition operation, then we hold our shift button and now click on meals. As soon as you are done with your data, you can now press enter and everything will be added in this cell. As easy as that, everything will sum up in that cell. As you can see, if you click this cell address, you will be able to see your formula in the formula bar. So that's the easiest way to do things. The next part of the question says replicate this formula through to F7. So let us go back in Excel and we replicate this formula. By replicate, this just means that we copy whatever we did in this formula to the rest through F7. So this is F3, this is F4, F5, F6 and F7. So instead of us doing the same process that we did here, all we have to do is take our mouse or cursor at this icon here at the bottom right and hold your left mouse button and drag it until we reach the cell address F7 and let go of your mouse. It will automatically do everything for us. As you can see, it has calculated everything in here just by using the formula that we created. It only has to change the addresses. So that's it for this part. We have scored a mark. Let us go back to our questions. We have scored 1 mark. Format the heading school trips to 24 pts font size and apply the bold attribute. So let us go back to Excel. So what they mean in this question is we have to format our title, this school trip. So just left click once in this school trip and we select the text. By going on the font in the home tab, we go on the fonts group and we go in this font size. We change the font size to 24 pts. So let us go on 24. As we can see, our font has become big. So now we have also now been told to make it bold. We apply the bold attribute. In the same font group, go on this symbol, the B symbol, and click once, and it shall become bold. Its appearance will change into a bold appearance. So we have changed it into a bold title, and we have also increased the font size. We have increased the font size to 24. So now let us go back to our questions. Use cell ranges A3 to A7 and F3 to F7 only to produce a bar graph which shows the x-axis labeled as total cost and the y-axis labeled as tour, and the chart title educational tour expenses analysis. So let us do that. So what we have been told basically is to only use the cells that start from cell A3 and end to a cell A7, and also use the cell F3 that ends to F7. So this is what they mean. This is our cells. They are telling us to use these cells A3 to A7. They are also telling us to use the cells F3 to F7. So that's what we are going to do. So let us insert a bar graph. Go on the insert tab, and you will be able to see here on the chart, this ribbon part, the chart group. You will be able to see where it's saying insert column or bar chart. Click on this drop down menu and you'll be able to see different types of charts. We are looking for this ordinary bar chart or bar graph, because this will give us the options to add the x and y axis. So let us left click it. So now as you left click, you won't be able to see anything. The reason for this is because you haven't added the data. So to add the data, you go on this ribbon of the design tab. This is the design tab, this ribbon, and select data, or you right click in this graph and go on select data. So now we need to select data. We have been told only to use the cell addresses A3 to A7. This is A3 to A7. That's what we have been told. Then we have been also told to use F3 to F7. So that's what we select. And as you can see, our data is now in the graph. So now what's next? Let us change these labels. We don't want them to display 1, 2, 3, 4. Let them display Victoria Falls, Egypt, Cairo, River, Nile, South Africa, Namibia. Let us do that. So let's go on edit and change the axis labels. So just click on this icon and drag. Click on this A3 cell address and drag it to A7. Immediately as you are done with that, press enter and click on OK. Now you can see it's showing the data as we want it to show. So immediately as you are done with this, you can click on OK. So I've noticed something strange with our diagram. We misspelled Egypt. Let us capitalize the E. And let us remember to save by going on the File tab and clicking on Save, or pressing the keyboard shortcut Ctrl S. The next part of the question is saying the axis, the X and Y axis, the X axis, which is the horizontal axis, should be labeled as total cost, and the Y axis, the vertical axis, should be labeled as tour. So let us do that. And we also have to label our chart title as educational tour expense analysis. So let us do that. So left click your graph and you'll be able to see this plus icon. So this plus icon allows us to add chart elements. So we want to add chart elements. Click that. We are interested in the chart element called axis titles. So click on axis titles and exit by clicking anywhere in the cells below. So now you're able to see the axis. You're able to see this y-axis and this x-axis below. So we have been told to label this as the total cost. So it's so uppercase. Okay, we are done with that part called total cost. Now let us change the y-axis and label it as tour. We are done with that part of the question as well. So let us go to the next part of the question. The next part of the question says highlight the spreadsheet and format it to show all borders. So it said format it to show all borders. So this is what we are interested in. This is the spreadsheet we're interested in. Let us highlight it. So let us click the first cell and drag it. We're interested in it up to average. Then let's go. We have been told to show all borders. So when you are in the home tab on this ribbon, you will be able to see in the fonts group something that says borders. Okay. So click on this drop down list and you'll be able to see where it says all borders. Click that and you are able to see the results. As simple as that. Our spreadsheet is starting to take shape. What else have we been told to do? We have been told to apply a gray shading to the cell range A2 to F2. So let us do that. So this is A2 to F2. So click that A2, then drag it until you reach F2. So after you do that, all you have to do is go on the fill color. Click this drop down list and go on this gray part and choose the gray shading. I'm going to choose this one. All you have to do now is save your work. Press the Ctrl+S keyboard buttons or go on the Files tab and click on Save. So let me go on the Files tab and click on Save. Files tab and Save. Our work has been saved. So I've noticed that we have skipped one part of the question. This question that is saying question 3. Question 3 said type the formula in cell B9 to calculate the average duration. So I noticed that we skipped this part B9 to create the average duration. So the reason for that is in my country currently we are experiencing load shedding, and I was rushing through the questions because the power can go at any time. Okay, it's going for 12 hours, sometimes 16 hours in a day. Imagine that. So forgive me if I missed out on that question. I know we should be careful, but just bear with me. We are going through tough times in this country, so that's the reason why I messed up. So to find the average, if you want to find the average of any given values, you just press the equal to sign and just type average. As you begin to type average, you will see a list of options that you can choose from. So we want this average, so you left click on it. So as you left click on it, you'll be able to choose numbers. So just click on, we want a range obviously, not so we are starting from B3 to B7 because that's what we have been told in the question. We have been told to type the formula in B9 to calculate the average duration. So we're starting from this B3 to B7. So just hold your left mouse button and drag it, then press enter. As you can see, it will bring the average duration. Or alternatively, I can show you another method. Let me just bring back the way it was. You can press equal to sign on your keyboard, type average. As you type average, let me show you from the formula bar. As you type the equal to sign and the average, you can open the brackets by holding your shift and pressing the buttons on the keyboards, the open brackets and the close brackets. Then in the middle, what we have to do is select the first cell address. So the first cell address here is B6 in this duration column. The first cell with the data is B3. So you have to type is B3, and as you type it, you're able to see that Excel has highlighted the cell. Then we have to put the full colon. The full colon is this symbol here with the two dots, one on top, the one and another dot below, the full colon. Then we have to select the end cell. We don't have to select any cell between here. We only have to select this cell on top of which we have done B3 and the last cell address, which is B7. So let us type B7. So what that does is it selects the entire column or the entire row. So this is the range of values. Immediately as you do that, you may press enter and it does the same thing, the same results, except the first part was very quick. So I just wanted to show you the two methods of doing that thing. So we are done with that part. We can press Ctrl S to save our work. Let us go back to the questions. Okay, so we are almost done with the question. Let us go to the next part of the question. The next part of the question says click on show formulas. So let us click on show formulas. So in order to show formulas, because as you can see when I type, for example, in any cell in which we use the formula. So let us use this cell we recently created, the average. Oh, by the way, we haven't completely answered this question. As you can see, if you look at this part, we were told to type the formula to calculate the average, but we have also been told to replicate this formula through to F9. So starting from B9 to F9. So all we have to do is take cursor at the bottom right of the cell. You have seen this square, this little square. This is the autofill square, so it will do the rest of the formulas for us. So all you have to do is go on that square and hold your left mouse button and drag it till you reach F9, and you have seen it has created the average values of the data in here, the data in adult costs, the data in children cost, and the data in meals. So by doing that, by autofilling, it has created the average for this data in here. It has also calculated the average for the data in children cost, in the meals, and in the total cost. So as you can see, this is a very fast way of entering data. So we can save our work, Ctrl S, and go to the next question. So the next question says click on show formulas. So now as you can see in these cell addresses, in these cells, you can see in the formula bar, it's showing the formulas, but in the question they want us to click where it should show the formulas in these cells, not on the formula bar but in these cells. So to do that, we have to go on the formula bar or on the formula tab. As we click on this formula tab, we are able to see in this part of the ribbon the formula auditing group. We are able to see something that says show formulas. So all you have to do is place your mouse over that and left click, and immediately as you do that, your cell addresses that contain formulas will now show formulas. So that's it. They are now showing formulas instead of actual values. So that's what the paper required of us, and that's what we have done. So let us go back to the question. So the question is saying all you have to do now is print the worksheet and the bar graph. So let us do that. So now, have you seen this line, this dotted line here? This shows us that whenever we print our document or our workbook, the page will cut from here. We don't want that. Let me show you when I change the view. I change it to page break. When I change the view to page break, you'll be able to see where the page breaks when I print my document. Have you seen? So this is where page 1 will end, and this is where page 2 will start from and will end, and this is where page 3 will end. So basically our workbook has a lot of pages. We don't want that. So to minimize the errors, let us just shrink the cells a little bit. So let us go on the normal viewing and shrink the cells a little bit. So let us shrink the cells. I'll show you everything when I shrink it. I have managed to shrink my cells and everything. Yes, all we are left to do is now print. But remember, in the question it told us to label the chart title as educational tour expense analysis, and we forgot that as well. So instead of us skipping it, let us add that. Let us go on add chart elements and go on the chart title by clicking it, and then we add educational tour expense analysis. Okay, we're done with that part, I guess. Expense with a C, oh my god. The spellings, am I right? Spellings. Okay, we're done with that part. All we have to do now is print our workbook. So to do that, all we have to do is go on the File tab. So when we go on the Files tab, we'll be able to see print, and this is the print preview, and what you see on our left. So this is the print preview, and what we will see on our left is what we see on the paper when we print it. So this is what our document will look like when we print it. Here we covered this part. This is where we select your printer. This is where you change the number of copies and all that stuff. So when you haven't been told anything to do, just leave it with the way it is, and all you have to do lastly is just go on this print command and click on print, and your document will be printed just like that. By the way, I've noticed that I shrinked my diagram or my chart too badly, such that I cannot see my axis labels and all that stuff. So all I have to do is click in the middle section. So this is my content area. So all I have to do now is over this vertical axis, or these angles, these handles. All I have to do is over these handles and drag it a little bit to create some space so that we are able to see our data more clearly. As you can see, the data now is looking more clearly. You can do that even by dragging in the plot area on top, taking it slightly on top to create some area below. So drag this part below. We're doing this because this paper will be marked on a plain paper and not on the computer. So the data and everything that we do should be able to look as pristine as possible. So that's it. All you have to do now is print your document, and let me show you how the final result looks like by converting it into PDF. And the PDF will give us a clear picture of what it will look like, what our workbook will look like on a paper, on a plain paper. So that's it for this part. Hope you're excited. The next part we are going to be looking at day 2 of this practical exam, the 2017 practical exam. So I wish you all the best. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, so remember to subscribe to this channel, because when you subscribe, it gives us the drive, the energy. We feel good about what we are doing, and don't feel free to share your suggestions in the comments, and we'll be able to get to you as soon as possible. So this is our PDF file, and this is our work. As you can see, this is what we have been able to achieve. This is a gorgeous. We have scored all the marks. Just look at how it looks. So this is what it will look like on a paper, on a plain paper, when we are done with everything. I hope to see you in the next section or the next day 2 of this practical exam. Wishing you all the best in all your learning. Thank you very much.